Have you ever wondered what it actually looks like to feed 20 people 3 times a day, every single day, with no takeout, no frozen meals, no grocery store runs, just a kitchen, a farm, and the kind of cooking knowledge that gets passed down through generations? Let's walk through an entire day. Breakfast before sunrise. Breakfast in a 20-person Amish household begins before most of the English world has set an alarm. By 5 in the morning, the kitchen fire is going and the first round of work is already underway. What lands on the table by 6 would look to most people like a small restaurant service. Scrambled eggs from the morning collection, thick-cut bacon from the smokehouse, fried potatoes from the cellar, fresh bread from yesterday's bake, butter churned earlier in the week, and jam from last summer's strawberry harvest. The eggs come from the family's own chickens. The bacon is from the hog butchered in October. The potatoes were grown in the kitchen garden and stored through the winter. The bread was baked in batches of 6 loaves every other day. Nothing on the breakfast table was purchased this week or last week or possibly this month. 20 people eat. The dishes are cleared. The day begins. Who cooks it all? Here is the question everyone asks. Who makes all of this food for 20 people 3 times a day, every single day? The answer is that it is never one person. In a 20-person Amish household, cooking is a shared operation that involves the mother, the older daughters, and in some households, the grandmother if she lives with the family. The mother plans and directs. She knows the week's menu, the cellar's inventory, and the daily rhythm of what needs to be prepared and when. The older daughters from about age 10 onward are active contributors, not helpers in the casual sense. They know how to bake bread, peel and cook vegetables, manage the stove, and time multiple dishes simultaneously. By the time an Amish girl is 14, she can produce a full meal for 20 people from scratch without supervision. The kitchen runs because everyone in it knows their role and has been practicing it since they were old enough to stand at the counter. Mid-morning meal. Mid-morning brings a smaller meal, sometimes called a lunch in Amish households, though it is not the main midday meal. Around 9 or 10, the workers come in from the fields or the barn for something to bridge the gap between breakfast and the noon meal. This might be leftover bread with butter and honey, cold sliced meat from the smokehouse, fresh cheese made from this morning's milk, or a simple soup that was started earlier and has been warming on the back of the stove. It is not elaborate. It does not need to be. 20 people who started physical work at sunrise are hungry for something practical and filling, and the mid-morning meal delivers exactly that warm, real food that costs nothing and takes minimal time because most of it was already prepared. The bread situation. Bread deserves its own section because bread is the backbone of every meal in a 20-person Amish household. The family bakes 4 to 6 loaves every other day, sometimes more during harvest season when extra hands are working and appetites are larger. The bread comes from bulk flour, farm eggs, water, salt, and either yeast or a sourdough starter that has been maintained in the kitchen for years. Every loaf is mixed by hand, left to rise, shaped, and baked in a wood-fired oven that produces a crust and crumb that no commercial bread comes close to matching. The bread appears at breakfast, at the mid-morning meal, at lunch, at supper, and as a snack. It is sliced thickly. It is eaten with butter, with jam, with cheese, with soup, with whatever the meal contains. Running out of bread in an Amish household of 20 people is considered a planning failure. It does not happen often. Lunch for 20. Noon dinner, what Amish families call the main meal of the day, is the largest meal and the most involved to produce. This is the meal that reflects the full capacity of the Amish kitchen. A typical noon dinner for 20 people might include a large pot of beef stew or chicken soup made from the farm's own stock, a baked dish of potatoes or noodles, roasted vegetables from the cellar, fresh bread, pickles from the previous summer's canning, and a simple dessert of pie or cake baked that morning. Every component traces back to the farm. The beef or chicken is from the farm's own livestock. The vegetables are from the cellar. The flour in the bread and the pie crust is from the bulk store, one of the few purchased inputs in the entire meal. The butter, the eggs, the cream in the soup, the preserved fruit and the pie filling, all farm-produced, all stored and ready. The meal is eaten together at a table long enough to seat 20, with the food passed family style, and the conversation that happens when 20 people who have spent the morning working together sit down to eat together in the middle of the day. It lasts 30 to 40 minutes. Then the work resumes. Afternoon snack time. Mid-afternoon brings a lighter break, something to carry the workers through to supper. This is often the simplest moment in the food day. Fresh fruit if the season allows it, cookies or a slice of bread with butter, sometimes a glass of fresh milk still cool from the morning milking. For the children who have been in school or helping with household work since morning, this moment is something they look forward to in a way that is out of proportion to what is actually being served. What makes the afternoon snack feel like more than it is has nothing to do with the food itself. It is the pause, the gathering. The brief moment where 20 people in different parts of the property converge in the kitchen or on the porch for something small and sweet and temporary before the afternoon's remaining work gets done. Supper, the big meal. Supper for 20 people in an Amish household is a full production that begins in the afternoon and lands on the table by 5 or 6 in the evening. It is not quite as elaborate as noon dinner that is the main meal, but it is substantial, hot, and made entirely from scratch. A typical supper might be a casserole of noodles and home-canned tomatoes with ground pork from the smokehouse, a pot of soup or chowder, fresh bread with butter, canned vegetables from the cellar, and whatever dairy the meal calls for. On baking days, a fresh pie appears. On ordinary days, a simple pudding or stewed fruit from the cellar rounds out the meal. The kitchen runs at full capacity for the 2 hours before supper. The mother and older daughters work simultaneously, one managing the stove, one preparing bread, one handling the dairy components, one setting the long table. The coordination is practiced and quiet. They have done this together hundreds of times. The meal arrives hot and complete, and 20 people sit down to eat it. What they drink all day. Water throughout the day, drawn from the farm's well, fresh milk at meals raw, whole, still slightly warm from the morning milking if the children get to it early enough. Coffee for the adults, made strong and drunk without much ceremony. Meadow tea in the summer mint or other herbs steeped in cold water and sweetened slightly, a staple at outdoor meals during harvest. Herbal teas in the evening made from dried herbs grown in the kitchen garden. Nothing in the household's daily beverage supply was purchased from a store this week. The milk is from the barn, the coffee is from the bulk store, one of the purchased staples. The teas are from the garden, the water is from the well. 20 people drink throughout a full working day, and what they consume costs almost nothing because almost all of it comes from what the property produces. Dessert from scratch. Amish households bake. This is not a weekend activity or a special occasion, it is a regular part of the kitchen's weekly output. Pies appear 2 or 3 times a week in a household this size, made with fruit from the cellar's preserved supply or, in season, fresh from the orchard and the berry patch. Cakes are baked for Sunday meals and for the work days when extra hands show up to help. Cookies and bars fill a tin that gets replenished every few days because 20 people go through baked goods at a rate that requires consistent production. The baking schedule runs on a rotation that the older daughters manage almost independently by the time they reach their early teens. One morning each week is dedicated to pies 4 or 5 at a time, sharing the oven in shifts. Another morning produces a week's worth of cookies. The bread baking happens on its own cycle, separate from the dessert production, so the oven is almost never idle on a weekday morning. The kitchen produces finished baked goods at a volume that would look, to an outsider, like a small bakery operating quietly out of a farmhouse, which is, in practical terms, exactly what it is. The desserts are made from the household's own eggs, butter, and preserved fruit. The flour and sugar come from the bulk store. The vanilla might be the one purchased flavoring that appears in the baking supplies. Everything else is either grown on the farm or stored in the cellar. A slice of Amish apple pie made from the household's own apples, sweetened with the household's own preserved fruit, baked in a crust made with the household's own lard and bulk store flour, costs approximately nothing beyond the labor that produced it. What they never eat. A 20-person Amish household does not eat anything that came from a factory, a freezer aisle, a fast food window, or a restaurant. Not as a rule that requires enforcement, as a simple fact of how the household is organized. There is no mechanism for ordering takeout when there is no phone and no car. There is no reason to buy a frozen dinner when the cellar is stocked and the kitchen is running. They do not eat food with ingredient lists longer than the items in their pantry. They do not eat things whose production process they cannot describe. They do not eat food that was manufactured somewhere distant and transported in a chain they have no connection to, not because they are opposed to it philosophically, because they have never needed it, and the system they live inside makes it irrelevant. They do not eat food that was designed to be convenient, rather than nourishing the snack bars, the packaged crackers, the single-serve portions engineered for people who have neither the time nor the inclination to cook. In a household where cooking is a daily practice and where 20 people sit down together 3 times a day, convenience food has no audience. The kitchen is always running. The food is always being made. The need that convenience food was invented to meet simply does not exist here. What they eat instead is food that was alive, recently grown in soil they manage, raised in a barn they built, preserved in a cellar they stocked with their own hands. It is not a diet. It is not a trend. It is just what happens when 20 people live on a working farm and cook 3 meals a day from what the farm produces. The table that feeds everyone. There is something that a day of food in a 20-person Amish household makes visible that a grocery receipt cannot capture. It is not just the savings, though the savings are real. It is not just the nutrition, though the food is as nutritious as anything available anywhere. It is the fact that the food connects the people eating it to every step of its production, to the garden where the vegetables grew, to the barn where the animals lived, to the kitchen where the bread was baked, to the cellar where last summer's harvest waited out the winter. 20 people sit down to eat 3 times a day, knowing exactly where their food came from, because they were there when it came from there. They planted the seeds in spring. They harvested the vegetables in summer. They butchered the animals in fall. They canned the jars in the months when canning needed to happen and stacked them in the cellar where they have been waiting ever since. The table that feeds 20 people every day is not just a piece of furniture. It is the end point of a system that runs on knowledge, labor, and the kind of connection between people and their food that most of the modern world traded away a long time ago for the convenience of never having to think about where any of it came from. An Amish family of 20 thinks about it every day, and what lands on their table because of that thinking is better than almost anything the alternative would produce.